So, everyone's favorite time, prediction time, UFC 300. I have room for about one or two more videos for the day, just because I've been super busy throughout the week, so I'm just laying out a bunch of videos right now. I'm almost at the end of my to-do list, and I'm just capping it off with this one for the day. So I'm going to go through all these fights and just pick my predictions. Starting with Davidson Figueiredo versus Cody Garbrandt. I got Davidson. I really just think that after he defeated Rob Font, who defeated Cody Garbrandt, Cody can win. Anyone could win these things, but I just think he's a heavy underdog. I want to see Cody get the upset. I really do. But Cody's last two wins were against two non-ranked guys, so it was easy for him to look super good. I just feel like Davidson has a little bit more at 135 to offer. But we'll see. Things could happen. One punch could change the trajectory, but Figueiredo just has more than one ways to win this, and even his striking, I feel like, is super advanced. And you can tell Cody came from a very different era. Like, a lot of these fighters are actually old by UFC fighter standards because they've been around for so long. But I feel like Davidson Figueiredo is just going to take this probably by like a submission. Bobby Green versus Jim Miller. Bobby Green. I feel like Jalen Turner, no shame in losing to him. But I feel like when Green wins, if he wins, and I'm correct, him versus Paddy Pimblett, definitely the fight at lightweight to make. I'll make another video on that one. Jessica Andrade versus Mariano Rodriguez. It would be a more interesting fight if Jessica Andrade was younger, but Andrade's getting older. So I feel like Rodriguez is probably going to win this just based on the fact that we're going to have a younger, hungrier fighter facing the old seasoned veteran. Could be wrong, but I'm going to have to go with Mariano Rodriguez. I have to make a decision on these. Like I said, I'm not a betting official, so don't hold me to any of these, but this is just what I feel. Jalen Turner versus Renato Moicano. Okay, so definitely if Renato gets him on the ground, it's over. But Jalen is pretty big for a lightweight, where Renato came in from 145. So I think it might be harder for Renato to take Jalen down. And Jalen has some pretty devastating striking and some decent wrestling. So I feel like Jalen Turner is just going to get this one in. I have to go with Team Jalen for some reason. Now, if it's on the ground and Renato gets control of that, I think it's a different story. But Jalen Turner, after that Bobby Green fight, I feel like Renato's in the same thing in like the same league as Bobby Green, where maybe, who knows, if Bobby Green doesn't want to fight Paddy Pimblett, he could fight Renato, or maybe Renato can try to get a bounce back win against Paddy Pimblett. Who knows? Because I know that Paddy Pimblett's going to want to make that next step, so I think there's a lot of options for Paddy. But I feel like Jalen Turner is going to be that guy on Saturday night. Sadiq Youssef versus Diego Lopez. Now, I think Diego Lopez has just seasoned himself really well. I did just say that Cody fought two non-ranks, and so did Diego Lopez. But I just feel like Diego Lopez's game has just gotten a little bit more seasoned with these fight camps to the point where he's going to want to prove a point to the part where if he defeats Sadiq, I think he could really take on Bryce Mitchell. So I'm going to go with Diego Lopez on this one just because Sadiq he's not a slouch, but he's definitely not top 5 yet. But I'm going to have to go with Diego just because Diego feels like a fire has been lit under his butt from that Movzar fight back at UFC 288 to the point where he's ready. He's not taking too much time, but he's also taking his time. So I feel like just the timing of his career is really good, and I like where he's going, so I'm going to go with Diego. Holly Holm versus Kayla Harrison. Now, I definitely feel like Holly Holm is a little from a different era. Kayla Harrison is definitely coming in from women's 155 in the PFL. Definitely has crazier judo credentials than Ronda Rousey and has fought bigger opponents. Now, Holly Holm, definitely a fan favorite, household name, amazing person when you hear her open her mouth and speak. But she's a veteran fighter, and a lot of that era is kind of starting to fade away where the new era is coming in. I think Kayla Harrison is catching the tail end of this new era. 33, obviously not the youngest fighter in there, but definitely will get work done, I feel like, in there. I feel like since Bantamweight lost Amanda Nunes, who else do we really have? Not a whole lot of people. So I honestly feel like this might be a bit of a bold prediction, but Kayla Harris might even be champion just because of the lack of who's in 135. Because 135 used to be the division, and now it's like the least marketable division. The most marketable women's division is now 125, and 115 and 135 are just like, okay, what do we do now? So I'm going to have to go with Kayla Harris. Calvin Kattar versus Aljamain Sterling. I'm going to have to go with Sterling. Now, I think Calvin could win, but Calvin has fallen short against like the top fives, even though I felt like he was robbed against Josh Emmett. I just feel like Calvin Kattar is, he's a perfect gatekeeper, and he's coming back from some bad circumstances, and Aljamain's going to give the fan base another reason to not like him, but he's going to exploit that a little bit. So just the circumstances. Now, if Calvin wasn't coming off of an injury, I'd probably be leaning more towards Calvin. But even then, Calvin's not the striker that Sean O'Malley is, and Aljamain did beat Petr Yan in their second fight, so he can hang with some pretty bad dudes. I'm going to have to go Aljamain, Funkmaster Sterling winning. Now, having said that, if he wins this fight, how many more fights at featherweight can he realistically win? I definitely think he could beat Bryce Mitchell. But do I think that he could fight Yair Rodriguez or one of these guys like Ortega at the top? Probably not. It's a new size. The guys there are just naturally bigger, so we'll see. Yuri Prochazka versus Alexander Rakic. Rakic is coming off of an injury, and I got to give him credit where credit's due. You're coming against one of the most dangerous guys who's going to be moving fast, where you're not going to be moving as fast as you used to. Because I feel like whether you're recovered or not, that injury is going to make sure you don't come back the same. So he's got a lot of disadvantages. So I'd have to go with Yuri Prochazka on this one. And Yuri's going to fight whoever wins the main event of UFC 300. I feel like that's a pretty foregone conclusion. Could be wrong. I'd bet money on Alexander just on the heavy underdog chance. But if I had to pick a winner, Yuri. Now, Bo Nickel versus Cody Brundage. Definitely Bo. I'm going to be a little crazy with the thing and say maybe by a first-round finish, maybe a KO, maybe a submission. But Bo Nickel, take on someone like Bruno Silva after this. Take on someone like Gerald Meerschaert after this. A name with credentials. You've got to pick up steam because I think we've seen you crush enough cans to the point where you're ready for a stationary target. Someone who's ready to give you a little bit more resistance. Now, maybe he's taking his time with this, but how much more time can he realistically take before, people start to criticize him on that? Because one of my friends who's a wrestler loves Bo Nickel, but says the same thing. He hasn't fought really anybody of big merit in the UFC middleweight division where he's got the potential, and I want to see Bo Nickel capitalize on that potential. So I'm going to go with Bo Nickel. Now, Oliveira versus Saryukian. I'm going to say this is a toss-up because you never know where Charles Oliveira is going to start losing his touch. But since he was able to face adversity in the first round against Beneil Dariush and come back with a KO in the first round, he's still got a definite thing. Now, but Arman met no resistance against Dariush and just finished him nearly right away in the main event of, I think it was like in Texas. I think that was there. But I do remember that fight did not look good for Beneil, and Arman just steamrolled him. He's coming back bigger and badder, so anyone who's going with Team Arman, I definitely could see that, but I feel like Charles Oliveira might prove the doubters just a little bit wrong. It could go either way. I'd say Charles Oliveira, a negative 100 favorite, in my opinion. But Arman Sarukian, if he's your guy, I don't blame you. But I'm going to go with Charles. I'm going to make a crazy prediction and say Charles. Gaethje versus Holloway. Everyone's thinking Gaethje, and I feel like everybody's right at this point. Now, Max, yeah, there could always be an upset, like I said. But that's like the thing is everyone wants to see those upsets. We all like to see it and have our jaws drop. I think Justin Gaethje is just going to win this fight, though. However, If Justin Gaethje wins this fight, the question is, will he be able to knock down Max, or is Max going to be able to take the punishment standing for 5 rounds? We'll see. I feel like, honestly, Justin Gaethje is probably going to finish him within 1 or 2 rounds, just from the leg kicks, because adding Justin Gaethje's leg kicks in there is going to make Holloway just a little bit more hesitant. So we'll see what exactly goes down, but I think we're all going for Justin Gaethje. Zhang Weili is going to own this belt for a very long time, I feel. If Yan cannot do it, then I don't know who can. Maybe she's got a chance. Everyone's got a shot. But Zhang Weili is definitely the Amanda Nunes at 115 now. Especially now that Rose is at 125, and especially now that Joanna Jędrzejczyk is gone. There's not really left to oppose her, and I think she's just going to be the boogie woman of this division. It's amazing how 115 has lost a lot of its stars, and it's all down to Zhang Weili now. And I honestly think she's just going to be the Amanda Nunes at 115 for a while until she decides to retire. But it's like a women's strawweight fight. Of course, Zhang Weili, a lot of people have her winning. Moving on, Alex Pereira versus Jamal Hill. This is a toss-up because Jamal Hill destroyed Glover Teixeira and kept up with his ground game, so obviously he's got the grappling. Definitely more than one ways to win this fight, where Alex Pereira is definitely a kickboxer in the UFC. But Alex Pereira does tend to get really lucky and play his cards super right. He did beat Jan Blachowicz. He did beat Yuri Prochazka. He is not a front runner. He doesn't give up. And Jamal Hill is coming off of an injury, but I feel like Jamal Hill just seems super ready. So unless Alex Pereira gets super lucky, I feel like Jamal Hill is ultimately going to take it. But if Alex Pereira sleeps on Jamal Hill in any way, shape, or form, Jamal Hill is definitely winning. Like I said, could be wrong on any of these, but this is just how I feel it's going to go down. So those are my predictions for UFC 300. Excuse me. Diet soda. But I am going to come back and see which ones I got right and which ones I got wrong. Now, having said that, to everybody who has liked, commented, subscribed, thank you guys, because you guys keep me incentivized to make these videos in my spare time, and making internet content is such a side thing. It's not where I make a majority of my money. Actually, I don't make any money doing it, but everyone's got that internet thing where everyone's going to take a crack at it. So to everybody who has contributed what little you could just by watching these videos, I just want to thank you all very much. So I want to start varietizing my content and make this more than just me sitting here talking into a mic. If in the future I'm thinking about doing a video after a certain subscriber count, where if I'm wrong about a certain main event prediction or something, I'm going to do like some sort of video where I do something like kind of like humiliating or self-deprecating, just to kind of make it a little bit more fun. Like give someone something that they really want to watch. But those are just ideas I'm playing around with. UFC 300, the sport has made it this far. Let's go and let's have a good time, fan base. Peace out.